Hi besties, welcome back to my channel. This is the White Feather Tarot, and in today's reading we're doing How Does Your Inner Child See You? Now I'm very excited about this reading, but before we begin, as you can see, I brought out the Osho Zen deck, which we'll be using today for this reading, and I want to answer a surprisingly frequently asked question on this channel by a lot of you. You were wondering, because I use this deck so much, do I follow Osho? And the answer is actually no, I don't follow Osho. I mainly I take the best from everything that I read, and I don't fully follow something or fully leave something out. I always like to take the best from everything. In fact, when it comes to Osho personally, I've heard some alleged things about him. I don't want to get into controversy, of course. I hope they're not true. But Osho or not, I always like to take the best and give you the best of everything. Okay, so this is my idea about Osho, the answer to your question. But do I love this deck? Gosh, I love this deck. I totally recommend it, and I think it is amazing to read with. So we're going to use that for today's reading, and we are going to be picking out 3 piles together. So we have pile number 1, pile number 2, and I feel this one as pile number 3. So let's see what we have. For pile number 1, you have the nothingness. For pile number 2, you have the 8 of Wands for traveling. And as I said that, there was a plane that passed by. And for pile number 3, we have the 2 of Wands for possibilities. 5, of course, is for the Hierophant. All right, so take a look at which one of these 3 piles you're the most drawn to, and that's probably the pile for you here today. If you feel drawn to more than one pile, trust your intuition. It will always guide you to the right readings. And as usual, you'll find the timestamps down in the description box. Click on your times, and I'll see you in your readings. Hi, pile number 1. So you've chosen this very interesting card, the nothingness. If your intuition drew you to this pile, you're going to find this very interesting actually, because the nothingness is a Sanskrit translation of the word shunyata, and that means that out of nothing, the universe was created. So out of nothing, something that has huge potential is created. So what I see for you as the very first thing that your inner child sees about you, pile number 1, is that you are a person full of potential. Your inner child has so much hope about what you can do. It's holding on to your vision. It's holding on to the idea that you are going to amount to something big one day, and that you are going to celebrate together, you and your inner child, these things that you've always been hopeful about. And your inner child is still holding on to that wonderful hope of all the big dreams that you've had as a child. It's waiting for you to create that potential and that big dream that both of you now and as a child always held on very dear to. It never gave up on you, your inner child, and knows that you are going to make you and their dreams come true. Pile number 1. Okay, so now I'm actually going to pull out another oracle card. I'm going to pull out an animal spirit card and get a more in-depth idea of how else your inner child sees you before we pull out your tarot cards. Oh, 2. So, pile number 1, you have, wow, you have the black egg, and you have, oh, the camel. So straight away here, the black egg talks about reaching and finding your authentic self, being in tune and connected to who you are on the inside. So your inner child, because this is a spiritual card, as you can see here, your inner child sees you as someone who has always held on to their innocence or your characteristics. You haven't let the world sway you or veer you off course from who you are. You've always been connected and in tune to your genuine, authentic self. Sometimes it was dark because of that choice that you made. Perhaps you've even grown into a stronger person, but never lost that inner, true, authentic self. You might have been alone during some times because you've held on to who you really are and didn't want to change into being a version that the world may appreciate more. And it's something that your inner child truly appreciates about you. Now, it's very interesting how you have the camel here with the moon, again, spirituality and the air element. So your inner child sees that perhaps you've been through some tough times, but you never gave up. You're very resourceful because, as you know, the camel, whenever it finds water or food, it stores that away in its body and then uses it up wisely, because the desert, you never know when you're going to get your next water or the next food. And so it looks like you've been very resourceful. Your inner child, so far as I can see, sees a lot of positive things about you, sees you as a very spiritual person, as a patient person who always keeps their eye on the goal. And that's why your inner child sees that you have a lot of potential, and that until you make it, you're always resourceful with what you have, specifically with opportunities. Pile number one, it seems like you are very goal driven here. You're someone who's hopeful about life. You didn't lose that innocence or that childlike dream capacity of dreaming so big and envisioning yourself to be something big. And because you believe in that so much, you've been carrying your inner child with grace in this aspect, and you try to be resourceful with whatever you have until you make it to that big dream. Even during your darkest of times, even when you don't have, when you seemingly from the outside don't have a lot of opportunities, you become resourceful. How can I reach that dream with what I have now? Do I need to go outside and connect and network, or do I need to read online to see how other people did it, or do I have some things that I actually can use now to little by little reach my dreams? What I can tell you first and foremost, pile number one, that for you nothing really seems impossible. They may seem hard a little bit in the beginning, but you have so much inner strength, perseverance, and so much belief in yourself, you and your inner child, that you continue to walk that hard desert-like road until you will make it big one day. Pile number one. I love your reading so far. Now let's pick out your tarot cards and get a more in-depth idea of how else your inner child sees you. Okay. So pile number one. How does pile number one's inner child see them, please? Ooh. How does pile number one's inner child see them? Let's go one more time. How does pile number one's inner child see them? All right, so let's see what you have. You have the Seed of Cups, which is the Page of Cups. It goes, it ties in very well with what we were talking about, someone who didn't lose that innocent passion towards life and creation and being a loving person from the heart. But you've learned to be more fierce, never losing that inner beauty of yours. Pile number one. It's something that your inner child is thriving in, is enjoying. You never had to drown that inner child to fit in with the world. In fact, I see your inner child in this aspect very nurtured and very happy. Wow. You have that, you have the Nine of Cups. I see your inner child being actually very healthy, pile number one. I see you taking very good care of your inner child. Maybe this is something that you started doing or something that you've always been doing. I see you speaking to it kindly, nurturing it, holding on to your dreams. And I see for you, pile number one, your inner child thriving, being okay, healing, because you have been through some very, very tough times that perhaps caused some trauma or caused a lot of grief, is what I see. But despite these very challenging, tough times, you never lost your authentic self. Your inner child was able to prosper even during these times because, and now they're healing, or they've healed and they feel okay. Your inner child seems to trust you a lot, pile number one, because you keep to your authentic self and you're patient and very hopeful. And this is why it knows that you are going to amount to something big one day. You nurture it. You nurture your inner child very well. Perhaps you've been through healing, taking care of yourself, maybe speaking to your inner child and trying to talk to yourself and say that everything will be okay. Continue to be hopeful. And I see that again, after tough times, you're on the way, or perhaps even now. I see rain here, so perhaps it's the end of some tough times and the beginning of you being peaceful and happy again and completely in tune with your happy self. Pile number one. Oh, you have justice here. Let me first pick out another card before we talk about that and put it here. Yeah. All right. Okay. Ooh, and you have the Ace of Stones. So let's talk about justice first. With justice, pile number one, justice speaks a lot about consequences. Whatever you do, you get. And you are a person who's very aware of that, obviously. And you are aware that life is not just going to happen to you. That you, as you can see with the Ace of Pentacles here, you have to go and get it and create that world that you want for yourself. Yes, the universe provides you with opportunities, and your inner child knows that, it feels it, it has seen that you've been blessed in many ways, that your spirit guides, your God or the universe has always presented you with good opportunities because of your beautiful heart and the karma that you've put out in the world. And your inner child is very hopeful. See, with all the rainbows here, it knows that after the rain, the rainbow will rise. This unique opportunity, as usual, will come to you because you as well, pile number one, always go and pick it up. So very positive cards with your inner child. I love this pile number one. And like we said, it's all about consequences. You're aware that whatever you plant, good or dark, you will get the consequences of these. You are very aware of that. You know that you are out into the world, that you have to make it happen. You don't just do the bad things or the things that you know that aren't right to you and hope for the best and think that it's going to come out well. You're a very wise spiritual person, pile number one, and you always choose to do the right thing for yourself as much as you can so that you reap the benefit of these things. And it's something that your inner child is very proud of you for. And this is why it trusts you a lot. You have a lot of trust with your inner child, despite whatever shadow aspects that you have to, of course, work with. I'm gonna pull out actually a card and find out what shadow aspect you have here, because you did go through some tough times, and it looks like your inner child has an opinion about that we need to figure out. You won't believe it. I'm gonna pull out the deck as it is. Ooh, yeah, there's a card coming out, and I wanted to pull that out in the beginning, but I felt like we already have 2 animal cards, but you're meant to have another animal card, and I felt like we need to see the shadow side here. Overall, before we get into the shadow side, you have been working very kindly with yourself and your inner child. Pile number 1, it thinks very highly of you, it trusts you, and it feels nurtured being with you. Pile number 1. So great job, my dear pile number 1. Okay, so now let's take a look at your shadow aspect. What shadow aspect does your inner child see about you? Ooh, you have the dragonfly here, and it's really interesting. I see an air element and a very big water element. So what I see here as a very important shadow side that your inner child sees about you here is the idea of illusion. So the dragonfly is an ancient, an ethereal creature that awakens the sense of wonder. But here I see illusion of the mind. And while you're a very, very smart person, pile number 1, sometimes when things aren't clear to you, when you can't see the future, or when you don't know what things are happening, you tend to worry a lot. So it's worth considering the quality of your mind and perception. Are you a little bit restless? Do you, because of the tough times that you've been through, a lot of the times, do you worry unnecessarily and cause yourself to get into perhaps anxiety or a lot of worry over the future, or over things that you can't see? So what I see as an advice here for you, pile number 1, is to calm your mind and choose not to fall into illusions. Choose, pile number 1, that nothing in the world is worth you having anxiety over. And instead of that, vouch into the fact that if you were going to lose things, then it is what it is. Don't choose to hold on to things. Let the universe give and take, and you stay stable. Pile number 1. Work hard in order to do your best, in order to make sure that you get the best and that you don't lose things, but also have acceptance. And it is this acceptance of whatever happens that will give you peace of mind. So don't get yourself attached to things or experiences or whatever it is in the world. Work and do your best to keep and go and move forward, but don't attach yourself to things. If things were to happen, great. If they don't, you're doing your best anyway, and choose to vouch yourself out or vote yourself out of anxiety. Choose to push it out. Do the best that you can, but don't unnecessarily get into the cycle of fearing what could happen, what could someone be thinking, what are they going to do, and decide that whatever happens, I'm doing my best, and I am going to be pushing anxiety out of my head. I'm not going to be experiencing them anymore. I will push it out. So the nothingness here is either going to darkness because of anxiety or fears, or choosing to feel none of that and push it away and stay true to yourself, pile number 1, so that you enjoy life and you enjoy your healing process as well, pile number 1. So pile number 1, that was your beautiful reading. I truly enjoyed it. And if you have, please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel so that you never miss a reading that I upload. Don't forget to click on your notification bell, and I'll catch you in the next reading. Bye. Hi, my dear pile number 2. So you've chosen the 8 of Wands, or the traveling card. And what I can see here for you straight away, pile number 2, is that you've been on a long journey in life. And throughout this journey, you've had a big heartbreak. In your journey, you've lost everything, or nearly everything. You had to lose everything, pile number 2, because it's about the journey and not the final destination. You do see in your card here, pile number 2, that there's a very tiny figure. Can you see? In this very big journey. And you see the tiny figure is moving on a path. Can you see it? And this figure knows that the journey is the goal. The healing now is the goal. That the pilgrimage itself is the sacred place, not the ending destination. So each step on the path is important in itself. And what I see here for you in terms of your inner child, pile number 2, is that it has seen you go through so many disappointments, so many losses. It had its heart broken with you. But I see a new horizon coming up. I see your inner child starting to have so much actually hope in you, because it sees you accepting and embracing the new now. And there is inner movement from one way of being to another. I see this with the 8 of Wands, an indication of a time of movement and change, a time of growth. And this new attitude of yours, pile number 2, is creating openness. It's accepting new experiences into your life. So I see your inner child healing with you, pile number 2, with the sun rising again, feeling like there is an upward movement, like you've embraced and accepted everything, and that you are taking it into a new hopeful horizon, taking your time to heal, accepting and moving forward with your life. Now the 8 of Wands as well, pile number 2, is about velocity and communication. So with the velocity, I see things moving in your life now that you've started to change your mind and the energy around you and focusing on your inner healing. There is energetic movement around you. There is good communication at the moment between you and your inner child. Perhaps you're nurturing it, perhaps you're giving it hope, perhaps you're healing it, taking attention to your inner child. You've stopped, life has stopped you all of a sudden, because it seems like with the 8 of Wands you were a person who moved a lot, who went from one thing to another, and life has caused a sudden stop where you were forced to now heal yourself and put attention towards your inner child and the things that you didn't have time to consider before. And now I see you talking to your inner child and asking it, why are you in pain? What hurts you? And nurturing it. What happened to you? I'm so sorry about everything that happened. I will join my hand with yours, pick you up, heal you, so that together you and I can walk this journey of healing and becoming the best versions of ourselves. So good job, pile number 2. You've been giving a lot of hope to your beautiful inner child. And this is why the pilgrimage here itself is the sacred place. This union between the both of you is this sacred place. So pile number 2, now I'm going to take your sacred animals deck, and I'm going to pull out another card to take a look at how else your inner child sees you. It seems I'm channeling that your inner child is starting to feel proud of you, starting to feel nurtured, is starting to feel its importance to you and itself. So there's a lot of focus on self-worth and respecting oneself, respecting one's wishes. Pile number 2. So great job. Pile number 2. I see this one coming out, and oh, 2 again. It's meant to have 2. So for this reason, it looks like this reading needs 2 of these decks, because this is what happened in the first pile, and I'm gonna automatically do the same thing with pile number 3 now. So pile number 2, you have, oh, you have the hawk, and you have the moth. Whoa, interesting pile here, especially with the observation here that both have to do with the air element. So pile number 2 with the moth, I see that you are an enthusiastic, whimsical creature who's attracted to shiny things, the new, enthusiastic about all the things that seem attractive, that makes your heart wake up. Pile number 2. You're also attracted though to easy solutions. So these are amazing qualities about you, pile number 2, especially because we're going to talk about the hawk here in a second, but let's build it little by little. So this is a great thing, especially with attracted to easy solutions. It's great to have an eye on how to do things the easiest way possible. Nothing wrong with that. So always keep this wonderful inner child quality to you, pile number 2. But here is the thing. This also talks about unfinished products, sometimes feeling burned out. So my advice to you, pile number 2, in order to grow with your inner child here, is to not disappointed with these amazing whimsical projects, especially with the hawk appearing here. This is significant. Again, we'll get to it. So you need to start going through and finishing your journey in terms of your projects. It seems like you have a big project here, and you need to start seeing life as an infinite mystery, rather than wishing it was easier and quicker, or wishing it was different. Start accepting that life for all of us is all about trials and tribulations, because like we said in the journey here, it's all about the journey and not the destination. Through these trials and tribulations, we grow and we see the best versions of ourselves. So pile number 2 here, if you want to start working on something, you see a vision, a whimsical vision that you're enthusiastic about, start working on it. This ties in now to the hawk, and I want to move here because I've been really ready, eagerly waiting to talk about this other version of you here. The hawk is a messenger, pile number 2. So it seems like you are a messenger of some sort here with a spiritual mission, because it's said that the hawk carries news upon its wings, and it's sent from divinity itself to deliver it. So don't take this lightly. Don't take this message of yours lightly. It seems like you have so much to add with your enthusiasm here, where you've grown your journey, pile number 2, and you are ready to deliver something to the world. So don't take it lightly, because eventually it's going to redirect your course. So putting this all together, pile number 2, it seems like your inner child knows that you are a special person, a unique and spiritual person who has a message here in the world, and now you need to deliver it. I get a lot of questions, but if I have a spiritual mission, whenever a spiritual mission comes up, I have something to do. I don't know how to start it. I see a lot of questions down in the comment section. I don't know what to do. I want to pick myself up, but sometimes procrastination or not knowing where to start hinders me. If this is your question, pile number 2, I always say it, I have a very beautiful productivity book that I have written from my heart. It's very small. You won't procrastinate on reading it. It has all the key secrets and practices that would really help you become this productive Hawk version of yourself, all while enjoying it. Pile number 2. It really has changed my clients' lives in terms of productivity. I'm sure you're going to love it. If you are interested, you'll find my email down in the description box. Email me. I'll send you the prices. I'll send you information about it, and perhaps you can start on this beautiful journey of yours. Pile number 2. So all the best of luck with that. There is this message from your inner child to rise, to start looking at your journey with you being a curious person who's drawn to all things ethereal, all things magical, all things interesting. It seems like you have a great grand mission or a great message to give to the world through your service or through your project, through your passion, and that's part of your journey here. And while your inner child loves this inner strength of you, loves who you are as a person, this interesting person that you are, it's now ready to put your hand with yours also in terms of moving towards your mission and your message, your divine message, and carrying out into the world. Pile number 2. So super interesting reading here. I love your reading, pile number 2. And now let's look at your tarot cards and get more information about how does your inner child see you. Whoa, it was 3131 as we said that. Seems like it's a very divine way, the way your inner child really sees you. And with 4 and 4, 3131, it seems like you're becoming more stable. You're giving it stability at the moment. Pile number 2. Okay. So let's see what you have here. Ooh, you have the Queen of Wands ready to rise. All the birds here. All this magical ethereal birds appearing in your reading, right? Things that fly appearing in your reading. So you're ready to fly, do you see? You're ready to hit it off, pile number 2. You have the 10 of Cups. So lovely. It seems like you're starting to nurture your inner child. You're starting to have a good relationship with each other, starting to have peace with one another, accepting each other, and you're ready to birth all these new project and birth a new life to so many areas in your life, filling your cups in so many different areas. Pile number 2. It's your time to move here. You have the Justice, and you have the Devil. Brilliant card to come up here in your reading. So like we said, part of your shadow side, pile number 2, is thinking that you are stuck with these unfinished projects, with feeling a little bit burned out when you try things. And the Devil here comes to clear things out for you. You are not stuck. With the Devil, we always assume that we are stuck. But with this idea, with this assumption of being stuck, do you see how someone is dragging someone into their dark world? When you feel like you are stuck, pile number 2, you drag yourself into this cave of unknowing, this cave of being stuck in the world, this dark cage where there's no hope. When, even though you are full of potential, pile number 2, you're full of passion with this ethereal curiosity of yours. You're not that you're just full of that. You're capable. You have a divine message here with you. So don't drag yourself into the idea of there's nothing that you can do, which sometimes it seems on your shadow side that you seem to get in, that there's no hope, that you're stuck in a place that you're not gonna get out of. It's absolutely not true, pile number 2. There is no such thing as you getting into a place and not coming out of. It might have been so dark for this idea to process, of course, through your inner child, but it's not true. It's a mind game that we can always vote ourselves out of, pile number 2. So there's this advice to take yourself out of this dark side and start giving hope to your inner child. You've already done that in so many areas, but now you need to give hope to life, to your journey, to your spiritual journey. Pile number 2, you have the raven here, which is a sacred animal, and it seems like there is sacredness in your message. There is passion to you. You're ready to go out into the world. But always remember that the Queen of Wands, pile number 2, is someone who helps the people around her as she helps herself. So this is why there is a strong correlation. It ties in strongly to the concept of you as you help yourself out of it, where you will eventually redirect your own course. You will be redirecting other people's courses, pile number 2. And this is why you have the Justice card here, speaking specifically about this pile, that you reap what you sow. You vouch into the idea that you can't make it, and you will put these seeds, and this is what you will get. But if you plant the ideas of you being able to do it, of starting these seeds, of working hard and finishing what you want to do, this is what you're going to sow, pile number 2. This is what you're going to get. So with all this flying here, fly off from this barrenness idea, fly off from this energy. It's done, it happened, it finished. It's now for you time to plant something new and get in touch with your divine message, pile number 2, and create something wonderful in the world, as you have already started. As I can see here, nurturing your inner child, you're taking care of it, you're healing, you're moving. But with the 8 of Wands, there is velocity, and it's now time for you to really fly off and not just stand there looking at it, pile number 2. So all the best of luck with your journey. I love how you've been working with yourself. I greatly admire and respect you. It wasn't an easy journey, so good luck on your future endeavors. It's going to take you to great places, pile number 2. So pile number 2, if you've enjoyed this reading, please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel so that you never miss a reading that I upload. Don't forget to click on your notification bell, and I'll catch you in the next reading. Bye. Hi, pile number 3. So you've chosen the 2 of Wands with possibilities. And this straight away shows me that this pile number 3, is a very strong pile with a lot of self-confidence. You see an eagle here with an overview of all the possibilities contained in the landscape below it. And you see it flying freely, naturally, effortlessly through the sky. You see that this eagle is in his domain, very grand, very self-contained. And that's because pile number 3, you've grown more loving towards yourself and more self-contained. Like we said, you can work easily with others. And because of that, a new world of possibilities have opened to you recently, or in the past perhaps few years, or throughout your growing journey, pile number 3. So your inner child sees you as relaxed and at ease, sees that you can recognize possibilities as they present themselves, and sometimes even before others can see them. So you have a big eye. You do not, and that's because you don't see boundaries, pile number 3, and you believe or your inner child believes that you have unlimited potential. And because of that inner belief in yourself, this inner confidence, you see these opportunities. Your inner child sees that you're in tune with your nature, um, and you understand exactly what you need, pile number 3. You're providing as well yourself with what you need. So you're taking great care of your inner child here, pile number 3. I love this about you. So now we're going to take a look at your animal spirit deck, and we're going to pick out 2 animal cards to get to know more about how your inner child sees you, pile number 3. It's one of the best inner child readings that I've done. Seems like there's a lot of confidence, inner confidence. Your inner child really believes in you. So much healing and so much strength in you, pile number 3. Perhaps you've grown up with wonderful parents that nurtured and loved you, or perhaps you worked very hard on yourself with yourself, and you've given this inner confidence to your child, pile number 3. Either way, very happy for you. Lovely work. So, ooh, you have the bear, and you know, this really hit me when I saw the bear. I kind of remembered all of a sudden, I was watching a documentary, and I remember the matriarch grizzly bear, which is a native North American bear. So it's a very, very lovely bear that knows how to nurture herself, how to take care of herself. You see the matriarch grizzly bear, it picks up grass and prepares her bed before she sleeps. You see her playing in water, snacking, takes a nap when she wants. Really, a lot of self-love, nurturing, and care. So I see you. So your inner child sees that you really nurture it. You take very good care of it. And you put yourself first, pile number 3, and that's not because you're selfish. That's because you take care of yourself so that you can take care and nurture others. And the bear here is also about nurturing. So you nurture yourself and you nurture others, pile number 3. Beautiful reading. Love that. Ooh, you have the gazelle. So the gazelle here, along with the eagle, a lot of animals in your reading. So the gazelle here, along with the eagle, has an open eye. Specifically the gazelle, it has to be alert all the time so that it is not hunted. It's very sensitive to sounds and movement, and you can see someone who's very open and alert to possibilities because they know they can hunt them down. They know they protect themselves very well. You protect yourself very well, and that's why you're very alert. You are not the sort of person who is in talking to people and you are not there. You're very in the present moment, very alert, very protective of yourself and your loved ones. You have your eyes open, you present yourself with strength, and that's how your inner child intrinsically sees you, pile number 3. Beautiful, beautiful readings. And this is how you recognize possibilities as they present themselves, pile number 3 as well. With the gazelle here, you hunt, you see, you have an overall picture. Overall, pile number 3, your inner child sees you as someone who's strong, very, very strong, has no boundaries, and is full of potential. Someone who wanders the landscape and finds out, how else can I grow? How else can I improve myself? How can I pamper myself and do the best for myself so that I can pamper others? I see a lot of cards already presenting themselves to me. All right, so pile number 3, let's see what you have here. Very interesting reading, loving it so far. So you have the earth element and you have the air element, which really shows me this balance between imagining things that are far away, and then at the same time you being bold and taking action towards it. that nothing can limit your potential or limit your dreams, and you know exactly what you want. You're not afraid to dream high, and you're not afraid to go around and look for the possibilities on how to create these dreams and earth them. Pile number 3. Gosh, I love your character. Okay, so you have the 6 of Swords. I love how it's presented in this deck. And you have the 4 of Stones. 44, as this card came out, so it looks like this is very significant for you. This is the 4 of Pentacles, by the way. You have the 10 of Swords, and that's one of my favorite cards in the deck, and I'll explain why when we talk about it in a second. You have the Harvest of Wands and the Hierophant. Ooh la la. Loving your reading, pile number 4. Sorry, pile number 3. But we had 44, that's why I got mixed up here. So straight away, what I can see about you here, especially this highlighted card that came out at 44, one of the main things that your inner child loves about you, the way it sees you, pile number 4, is that you make the best out of what you have. You're very resourceful. You see a woman here in a cotton field and harvesting its cotton into balls, big balls, ready to use them, to make something out of them. And so during your tough times, which you have gone a lot through, you've learned to be resourceful, pile number 3. You've learned to use what you have. You were never the person to say, oh, the world has ended for me, I can't do anything. That's why you have an inner child that really respects you and loves you and is confident in your capabilities, because when the going gets tough, you don't break, pile number 3. You make use of what you have. You become very creative and resourceful, very watchful, and you're careful so that you take yourself out of it. And that takes us to the 10 of Swords along with the 6 of Swords in this deck that I really love. You see someone here with the 10 of Swords that has hit rock bottom, and during her rock bottom is where she found herself, where she found hope and understanding. She found the light at the end of the tunnel. This is where she understood everything, and she used the same lessons that brought her down to go back up again, pile number 4. So that's your intrinsic character, and this is why you have the Hierophant appearing in your reading. You're someone who decides to learn from what they've been through, and never break. You spring back up. You have a strong inner child in you, a very healthy inner child in you that helps, supports you, and picks you back up. Pile number 4, especially with the 6 of Swords here. It's so sweet. You see a woman here riding a humpback whale and embracing the internal process that came with change. What's up with that? And you've embraced the internal process that came with the change that happened, and taking these learning lessons to move slowly back out into the other side. Pile number 3. Such a strong character, an intrinsically strong character inside out. And this is why you have the Harvest of Wands, which is the King of Wands, all about being a leader, a passionate leader who's capable of creating his or her own reality. And that's why you have people who follow you, who believe in your strength. It seems with the King of Wands here in your reading, in conjunction to the Hierophant and possibilities, it seems like to other people, pile number 2, you seem like nothing stops you, really. And that's not just to the outside world. Within you, your inner child believes you that nothing is going to stop you, that you will always spring back up, no matter how dark it gets. You will first feel the shock. You might feel horrible, but it's never the end for you, pile number 3. You'll always take your time and then say, okay, so what do we do now? How do I take myself out of the situation? What can I learn from what happened? What should I look out for now? And how can I hunt this amazing possibility on the horizon where, since now I've gone down, I don't want to go back. That's not you. Your inner child now wants something so big. Now you want to spring out into something bigger. And let me give you an example of what I'm trying to say here. So let's say you had a stable life, you had a nice career, a nice partner, and you were going about your life and enjoying it as usual, trying to grow in your career. Let's say something horrible happens and all of a sudden you lose your job, you lose your finances, you lose that partner, you find yourself alone, crying and a little bit miserable, shocked from what the world has done, perhaps shocked by the people around you, and you cry it out, pile number 3. But now that all this has happened to you, you're not gonna say, okay, let's climb back up and get ourselves out of this and go back to where we were. No, no, no. Now that this has happened to you, pile number 3, you're more motivated than ever. Now you're really passionate and you don't just want to go back. No, you start thinking about, okay, now that I'm in this situation, I'm free of past things that perhaps hindered me from having bigger dreams. You know what? Now I'm going to use all the learnings that I've had, my learnings about people, my learnings about career, my past career, my current situation, and I'm going to do something amazing out of my life. I'm not going back to having a career, having people control me. I'm going to hunt down my dream job that I always wanted to have. You know what? Now it's time for me to learn how to do it now that I'm free, and you lead yourself out of this with strength. And you don't let finances hinder you either. You think, what do I have now that can help me resource-wise? Do I need to have some side jobs to save up? Can I use can I maybe downgrade my apartment and get money and then see if I can start something? These are all just examples. You see, what can you do from these current situations and circumstances to not just go back to where you were, to achieve this big dream that you have. You spring back up with strength and power. You look at possibilities, you hunt them down, you learn along the way, constantly learn how to achieve that. You use whatever resources that you have, and you slowly but surely take yourself out of it and achieve amazing things. And that talks about your true character, pile number 3. And this is why you have the King of Wands here. You're a true leader, a true inspiration to others, with all the internal strength that you have and the belief in yourself that you have, that really stems from a beautiful inner, healthy inner child that believes in you too. My beautiful pile number 3 is here supporting you because it's healthy, it's it's healthy, and it's capable of building with you, pile number 3. So kudos to you. Love and respect your reading. All the best of luck. I really enjoyed it. And if you have pile number 3, wow, it was 52 as we said that. Please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel so that you never miss a reading that I upload. Don't forget to click on your notification bell, and I'll catch you in the next reading.